1. The Legend of the Lizard Man of Skinwalker Swamp. In the 1980s, in the small town of Bishopville, South Carolina, a terrifying legend began to spread. It all started with a strange encounter by a man named Christopher Davis, who was driving home late one evening along a quiet, desolate road near the Skinwalker Swamp. As Davis was driving his car down the road, he noticed something strange at the edge of the swamp. At first, he thought it was just a trick of the light, but then the figure emerged from the darkness. It was tall, with green, scaly skin and glowing red eyes. Its body was covered in scales, and it had long, muscular arms. The creature seemed to glide across the road with a terrifying grace, and then, without warning, it lunged toward Davis's car. Terrified, Davis slammed his foot on the gas, speeding away from the swamp. But when he returned to town and told people about the creature, no one believed him. Some thought it was just a figment of his imagination, while others claimed he had been drinking. But soon, other reports of similar sightings started to surface. The creature, which became known as the Lizard Man, was said to have lived in the swamp and terrorized anyone who ventured too close. Many locals reported seeing strange footprints along the edges of the swamp, and there were even reports of cars being attacked or scratched by the creature. As the sightings continued, the legend of the Lizard Man grew, with many locals believing it was a cryptid, an undiscovered creature. Others speculated that the Lizard Man was some kind of mutated being, a product of radioactive waste, or government experiments gone wrong. Despite the years that have passed since the first sighting, the Lizard Man remains a part of Bishopville's local folklore. The creature has been the subject of numerous investigations, TV shows, and articles. Some claim that the creature still roams the swamp, while others believe it's just a tall tale that has been passed down through generations. The Lizard Man legend started with one man's terrifying encounter, but quickly became part of the folklore of Bishopville, South Carolina. The creature's sightings persisted throughout the years, with people continuing to report strange occurrences around Skinwalker Swamp. To this day, the legend of the Lizard Man is still told by locals, and the swamp remains a place of mystery and fear. 2. The Legend of the Moth Man. 1. Cold night in the 1960s, in the town of Point Pleasant, West Virginia, a man named John and his wife Mary were out for a walk along the Ohio River. As they passed an old warehouse, they noticed a strange shadow flying above them. It looked like nothing they had ever seen before. "What was that?" Mary asked, her voice trembling. "Probably a large bird, or an owl," John said, but he didn't seem very convinced. However, as they continued on their way home, the mysterious shadow seemed to follow them. Soon, a terrifying figure, nearly 3 meters tall, appeared from the darkness. It had large, glowing red eyes and massive black wings that covered the entire sky. "Mary, run!" John shouted, terrified. But before they could take another step, the creature lunged at them with incredible speed. The couple managed to escape with their lives, running back to town, where they told others about the creature that had been following them. In the following days, more townspeople reported sightings of the same red eyes and large wings. People began to say that Moth Man, a strange being, was a harbinger of doom and destruction. It is said that Mothman was seen in the days leading up to the collapse of the Silver Bridge in December 1967. Many believe that this flying monster was a precursor to the tragedy that would unfold, and the legend remains unsolved to this day. The Moth Man legend dates back to 1966, when several townspeople in Point Pleasant reported encounters with a strange creature. The legend became associated with the collapse of the Silver Bridge in 1967, which killed 46 people. Many believe that Moth Man was a harbinger of this tragedy. Today, the legend continues to haunt the town, with Mothman remaining a symbol of darkness and mystery. 3. The Legend of the Bell Witch. In Tennessee, during the 1800s, the Bell family lived peacefully on a farm until strange things began to happen. One night, Betty Bell started hearing strange noises coming from the walls and ceilings. As paranormal events escalated, the entire family was terrorized by a malevolent entity that seemed to seek revenge. "Who are you?" asked John Bell, the head of the family, one night as he heard noises and felt a cold, unsettling presence. "I am a witch. You will pay for what you have done," came a deep voice, echoing from every corner of the house. In the days that followed, the Bell family was haunted by the entity known as the Bell Witch. It spoke to all the family members, but focused mainly on their daughter, Kate. This entity ruined their lives and led to the death of John Bell. The story became known as one of the most famous legends in America. Over the decades, there have been many attempts to unravel what really happened, but no one has been able to explain the Bell Witch phenomenon or why the family was chosen to be terrorized. The Bell Witch legend comes from a series of terrifying events that occurred in Tennessee in the early 19th century. It is considered one of the scariest stories in American history, and it has inspired numerous stories, films, and books, all based on the same mysterious events. 4. The Legend of the Chupacabra. In southern Texas, people began reporting a series of attacks on their livestock. Cows and goats were found dead, with strange marks on their necks, as if someone or something had sucked their blood. Many of these attacks were attributed to a strange creature with red eyes and sharp fangs, which became known as the Chupacabra. "I woke up in the middle of the night and saw something in my yard," said Roberto, a local farmer. "It was a large creature with scaly skin and glowing eyes. It was feeding on the blood of my animals." Over the years, stories of the Chupacabra spread throughout Latin America and even to other parts of the world. It is said that this monster hides in the shadows and hunts at night, killing animals to feed on their blood. The Chupacabra legend began in the 1990s in southern Texas and spread quickly. Over the decades, many reports of similar attacks have come from throughout Latin America. The Chupacabra remains an unsolved mystery, and many still wonder if this monster is real or just an urban myth. 5. The Legend of the Skinwalkers. In the isolated regions of the American Southwest, particularly in the lands of the Navajo people, there is a terrifying legend about the Skinwalkers, evil sorcerers who can shape-shift into animals. These sorcerers are capable of stealing the skins of animals and wearing them to disguise themselves and hunt their victims. "I heard howls in the night, but they weren't from dogs," said an elderly Navajo man. "They weren't normal animals. It was something more terrifying." A young man named William witnessed such a transformation. One night, he and his friends saw a man turn into a coyote right before their eyes. It was a skinwalker who had been following the young men and terrorized them until they managed to escape. It is said that skinwalkers are not only sorcerers, but also creatures capable of controlling the minds of both humans and animals, manipulating them for evil purposes. These sorcerers are avoided by Native Americans, who will never speak of them out of fear of drawing the attention of such malevolent beings. The Skinwalker legends are deeply rooted in the traditions and mythology of Native Americans, particularly in Navajo culture. These stories are ancient, but continue to be told today as a warning about the dangers of witchcraft and the evil forces that haunt the world. Hey, everyone! If you're enjoying the content, don't forget to hit that subscribe button on my YouTube channel, Silent Scars, and give this video a like. Your support means the world to me and keeps me motivated to create even more amazing content. Drop a comment below and let me know what you think. I'd love to hear from you. Remember, every like, comment, and subscription helps this community grow, and I truly appreciate each and every one of you. Much love.